Hello, this is Alex Calvo Garcia. You're listening to the Iron Hour podcast.
Hello, Iron fans. Welcome to another episode of the Iron Hour podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, wherever it is you get your podcast. Delighted to bring you another episode with myself, temporary host Max Bell. Unfortunately, Barra's not able to join us tonight, but in even better news than that, I'm very, very happy to say that we're joined by two of our regular panelists this evening. Marco, I can't quite tell if you've been out to play cricket or you've been flipping pizzas.
Neither. Certainly not cricket. There's more chance for flipping pizzas, but no, not this week. I've got a rare night off tonight, so yeah, looking forward to discussing all things Scunthorpe as usual.
Excellent. And speaking of discussing all things Scunthorpe as usual, it's the people's vlogger, Gareth Holden, Iron Army. How you doing, Gaz?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good. My car has been found.
Excellent. Yes.
Or not, I don't know.
I think for anybody who hasn't seen that, it's going to be a unanimous hero of the week. I think to South Yorkshire Police for finding Gareth's car. We don't yet know what condition is going to be returned in, but they've still won hands down anyway. So yeah, good news for Gareth on this Thursday evening.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they've had a huge orgy in the back of it. I don't know what film that's off. I think it's
you didn't. Why?
500, so there's definitely dwarfs involved.
What? Why go there, Marco? Why? Okay, fantastic. Anyway, just want to, as per usual, give a big shout out to our sponsors. Obviously, this wouldn't be possible without them, and we are very, very grateful for all of their support to help keep bringing you podcasts. So, firstly, I want to give a big shout out to Best Blanks Wholesale, to Hole in the Wand, to No Film, and also to AC Videography and Photography. Thank you very much for your support. And obviously, as this has been an international break, there will be no FPL updates because there is nothing to update. Marco's clearly not a fan of international breaks. Look, Italy did win, didn't you? You beat Israel 3-0.
You have to watch it. Yeah, but it was meaningless because Norway have ran away with it. I saw a picture today of our World Cup kit that's been leaked. I'm like, that's no good when we're not even going to be there. So yeah, it's pretty.
You be set for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's third time lucky. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm not filled with hope. It's just the national team going through a very long, painful transition. But which is crazy enough. If you actually did qualify, you wouldn't write us off winning it, which is just so Italy. So yeah, no, I'm not a massive fan of international breaks at the minute.
Oh well, I'm very happy having seen England win 5-0 in Latvia. I'm very happy to say that you're wrong. Anyway, nonetheless, moving swiftly on, despite the fact that there is no FPL update, we do nonetheless want to give a big thanks to the Georgian in Barton for sponsoring the FPL, and we're very much looking forward to promoting the FPL and giving you a proper update next week. Because I think once the international break has happened, could be looking at quite a bit of change in the table. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to that. Before we go on to review the Kings Lynn game, and obviously look forward to the FA Cup first round draw, just want to give a bit of an update in terms of our work continuing alongside a couple of the fans groups, don't we, Marco? Don't look so confused.
I'm well aware.
Good. Marco is often not very well aware, so I'm very, very happy to say that we've partnered with the Unity Group, who a number of Iron supporters may see on the hut outside the entrance to the Doncaster Road end, just to the left of the Iron Bar. They will be sponsoring our weekly score predictions moving forward, and in return for that, we will also be sponsoring their ticket giveaways. We do want to stress that as this is sort of mutually beneficial, no money will be changing hands. So anybody who donates to the Unity Group, please be assured that 110% of that money, frankly, Marco's pointing at himself,
will be coming straight to me. To fund
yes.
all
To
my
fund-
away beers and travel.
We don't take a cut.
No, I think it's all going to fund pineapples on pizzas.
Yeah, so under no circumstances should you donate. Just put it straight into my pocket.
Okay. Just in case there is anybody out there who does not understand heavily sarcastic Italian men,
Heavy.
as I say, well, there's not a lot you can say to that, really. Very, very happy to say that as the Iron Hour podcast, we will be sponsoring the Unity Group's ticket giveaway. And in return for that, they will be sponsoring our weekly score predictions. And we just thought it was an excellent idea, really, of fan groups and platforms and podcasts and whatever else it might be, to be able to promote the good work that's happening across Scunthorpe, because, you know, as a fan base, there is a lot of good stuff happening, isn't there, Marco?
Yeah, 100%. Look, anything that's helping people, families especially, people who can't get to games on a regular, I think can only be a good thing. So not only the work that we're doing behind the scenes, which are what doesn't actually get mentioned, to helping the club. And I know for a fact there are tens of thousands that go straight direct to the club, and the everyday running of the club wouldn't happen if it wasn't for these guys. So no, look, we're delighted to have been asked, to have been approached by them to help sponsor. Well, just something to get sort of a name out there. We can use our platform to get a little bit more publicity, as they can for us. So yeah, it works hand in hand. But the be all and end all is it's what they're doing is a really good project, and yeah, to be sponsoring tickets for families and kids to be able to go see the Iron, which isn't affordable. Look, times are really tough at the minute. So yeah, to be on board with that can only be a good thing. Yeah, so I know I speak for the whole podcast where we're delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. And just speaking of good work, we also want to promote something which has been done by the Iron Trust, which you may well have seen on social media, which is the Share Builder scheme. So the Iron Trust is raising money to purchase shares in Scunthorpe United Football Club via a Share Builder scheme. For anybody who's not aware, the Trust is a sort of member-run supporters organisation. You think of some clubs which are Trust-run. I think of Wimbledon in particular. The Share Builder scheme enables fans to donate money to the Trust towards a target of £25,000, which will be converted into 1,250 shares. This will add to the Trust's current level of shareholding, helping to build the supporters' voice in the decisions taken by the club. On their GoFundMe page, the Iron Trust have said that they're delighted to confirm that SUFC have pledged £25,000 worth of shares after a joint negotiation, and have agreed a partnership to promote and support this initiative. The Share Builder scheme will run until the end of November. If you want to find out more details, do check out the Iron Trust in particular on social media. Obviously, they are targeted to raise £25,000. They're currently up to £6,615 is the online total. So, you know, a really good dent has been made into that. All of that money will go towards the club and spent in the ways that the club deems fit. But yeah, just wanted to make any supporters aware who perhaps had missed the scheme to go and have a look. If you are able to donate and support the Share Builder, then please do so. And as I say, you can find out more information, in particular on the Iron Trust social media page. I think it's all their pinned posts. So yeah, really, really good to promote. Excellent work that's happening across the scene from a number of support groups at Scunthorpe United. So yeah, just wanted to give the Trust and their Share Builder scheme a big shout out there. Speaking of shout outs, let's go back to King's Lynn at the weekend, Gareth. You were able to make it in the end.
Yes.
How was it?
Game of two halves. Yeah, the first half, Kings Lynn were on top, scored the goals. We were useless. Second half, we made some changes at half time and flipped it on its head. And we
were no longer useless after half time. That's the assessment.
Yeah, no, I think the first half we just weren't at the races at all for whatever reason. Yes, there were some changes in the squad. Yeah, you can say there have been tired legs, tired bodies, tired minds. But yeah, there was no get up and go, no tempo, no urgency. There were gaps in the middle of the park, just wasn't working what we were doing. And I think, there's been Brandon Horton has come out. There's been a video out today of him, and he said they had a rocket at halftime. And I think it was quite clear for everybody to see, and plus the changes as well helped. The crowd got on board as well. It was a bit flat in that first half, and we scored four goals to no reply. So it was a good day at the office.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously one of the goal scorers you've already mentioned there, Gareth, was Brandon Horton. Nice to hear. Sponsored by the Iron Hour podcast. Come over the Tannoy. Marco, what did you make of his performance?
Yeah, brilliant. I thought when he got his red card against Halifax, I was hoping we'd hear it then.
That'd be good sponsorship exposure, wouldn't it?
Look, like I said on Twitter, it was nice for actually Horton to reply to us, saying he didn't know if it was a compliment or not, but it really was. We're not used to having our name up in mics after sponsoring Clunan for a couple of seasons, and him not grabbing a home goal. So yeah, really nice to see. But overall, it was a performance as well. I mean, we've been talking about a few weeks now him coming in through no fault of Denton, just again tired legs, a lot of game time, and obviously Horton started the season brilliantly. So yeah, I wasn't surprised to see him starting. I thought he took his goal really well. Second half, you'd argue he played more of. We were really on the front foot. You'd argue he played more of a winger than an actual fullback. He managed to cover a lot of ground and get into obviously the final third. But no, really impressed with the performance, and it's exactly what Butler would have wanted from those changes to the team, and that's giving him something to think about for the next game. And look, if Denton's back, you've got two very capable left backs there. So yeah, competition for places, something we see most weeks. But I really do think we have a lot of depth. I mean, at half time, it'd been a very different story. You'd feel the players that he's put in there trusted, feeling we can get a result in this game, have let him down massively because, like Gareth said, the first half really was poor. And I mean, we can blame the pitch all we want, but we're both teams playing on it. So yeah, look, it shouldn't take the rocket at half time, but credit to Butler, whatever he did say, definitely had an impact. And nice to win me a bit of money as well because you could see it coming. I thought if we get one early, I thought we would take the game to him, and it was good to see. The second half was very impressive.
So is that you saying you got a good price in play at half time then?
I did 14-1.
14-1, wow.
14-1. I chucked 20 quid in it. And then I tell you what really did wind me up, that it took us so long to realise that their left back couldn't defend. I mean, you watch the match highlights, so anybody not at the game, my dad didn't make it, and he says everything came from Roberts down the right hand side, and we didn't suss that out till sort of 50, 60 minutes, and he really did beat his man every time, jinking in, jinking out. Roberts tends to do that. He can go in and get that shot on with his left foot, or he can take it to the byline and get a lot of crosses, and that's how a lot of the goals came. Obviously, it was nice to see him get his goal late on as well. So, yeah, like I said, a lot of positives that second half, but I think Butler would have been very pissed off at half time, and he will be taking that apart because play like that in the league, and it's a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Marco there mentioned play with the Iron Hour podcast sponsored for the couple of years prior, which was Michael Clunan, Gareth. Good to see him back, and he got quite a good applause at full time, didn't he, from the Iron fans? What well deserved.
Yeah, I think it was good to see him back doing what he does. He broke up play. I didn't see him
and had that shot from distance that went about 15 yards wide.
He did, yeah, which was always pleasing to see. Just, giving us memories back. But yeah, it was good to see him right at the very end. Once all the players had gone off the pitch and what have you, he came back and just applauded the fans that were left in the ground. There weren't many, but it was just a nice little touch. I'm sure he would have appreciated it as well, being back and seeing everybody again. There were lots of hugs and stuff at full time with players. So yeah, it was good to see. And good to see him on the losing side.
Absolutely, and obviously for any Iron fans who've been living in a cave for the last week, our victory against Kings Lynn on Saturday, the FA Cup first round draw, the first time we're back in the FA Cup first round since 2021, saw us get the one and only Blackpool away. Marco, what was your reaction to that draw?
Yeah, it's one of them, and you want that good away day, which look, Blackpool has plenty of potential to be, or you're wanting a really, I want to say poor, because all the teams in it to get to the first round have done well to get there, but you are wanting one of the so-called lesser teams at Glanford Park to have a good chance of progressing to obviously the second round.
Right then, speaking of progressing, it's an unexpected addition to the I Now podcast. Barra, I mean, how are you? What a pleasant surprise.
Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? Hope you can hear me. I'm sorry for getting my fingers all in the way there. How are we doing?
Not the first time you've said that, I'm sure.
It is the first time it's not resulted in children.
Okay, right. Well, we'll move swiftly on from that. Sorry to interrupt you there, Marco. We'll just make the most of Barrow whilst we've got him. Not quite sure how long he can stay for. Barrow, we were just talking about getting Blackpool away. Now, historically, I think, Blackpool traditionally quite a bogey side for the Iron. I think of us losing 5-0 there in the game that got Mark Robbins the sack. I think of losing 5-2 there under Brian Laws. I seem to remember Ian Morris scoring a couple of goals for Blackpool that day. I think of even when we won the League One title, if I'm not mistaken, did they not do the double over us that year?
They did. Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking of
Championship days where they done us 5-2 and set flares off. First time I'd seen flares at a football game. That.
Yeah, or even when they were really struggling under the Oystons. I think they went nearly 2 years without an away win. And I knew at least a dozen different Scunthorpe fans who backed Blackpool at 9s and 10-1, and they duly beat us 1-0. They haven't, however, started League One that well this year. Could you see us upsetting them?
Yes, I can. I could see us giving a good go anyway. A really good account of ourselves. It wouldn't shock me if we come out the right side of the tie. It wouldn't shock me if we lost 6-0 because they are 2 divisions above us. They are a far greater team. But magic of the cup, Max. Butler's a special guy. I know his cup form hasn't been fantastic, but that second half on Saturday, man alive, if we play anything like that, I mean, that second half, but I know you'll have talked about the game, but it was absolutely ridiculous. I think Callum Roberts over the past couple of weeks has been sensational. And a lot of fans giving him a bit of stick as well for his start to the season. But my God, on Saturday in that second half, I've never seen anything like it. Honestly, it was unbelievable.
So Gareth, Barra there has mentioned, I think his exact quote was, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us 6-0. It wouldn't even be the first time we've lost 6-0 at Blackpool. I think they've done a 6-0 back in the early 2000s. What was your reaction to that draw, Gaz?
Obviously, I liked AFC Tottenham or Truro at the time.
you wanted a long away trip down. Tottenham's near Southampton, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have minded a long away day, but as Marco said, it's got the potential to be a good away day, Blackpool. I know there's people booked hotels already, but we don't even know for definite when the date is. That weekend. So there might be some disappointed people. But no, it's good that we can pit ourselves against a higher placed team as well, in fairness, because we know the start of the season we've had and the start to the season they've had, it could throw up a cup upset, hopefully. But yeah, Blackpool away. There's lots of memories, as you say. I remember Jason White at Wembley blazing one over the bar. I think.
That's a low blow. That
back in the day. So yeah, my dad was he's offered me a Preston North End shirt to wear in the away end. I have politely declined.
Politely declined.
Well, I've declined. But yeah, no, I think it'll be a good tie. It's one that we can win, but as Barry said, it's one we can lose as well. So
I think it's one of them where if we weren't Scunthorpe fans, in the morning when you're putting your accumulator on that Saturday, it's one of them where you think it could be a potential banana skin, that. I'm not saying Scunthorpe win, but like I said, as a neutral, even then, I think you'd think I wouldn't be surprised to see Scunthorpe get a result. But then us being Scunthorpe fans know very well it could be 4 or 5-0, like Barrett says. So yeah, it's a really interesting time. It will be an interesting game for sure.
Now, Barrett, just obviously one thing which Scunthorpe fans have not experienced in the FA Cup before is no replays. Now, obviously, we had replays up until the fourth qualifying round, and the last time the Iron were in the first round, we did still have replays, but they've now, from this stage onwards, they're officially abolished. Before we move on to your chat with Positivity Dave, quickly, do you think that will impact Butler and the Iron's tactical setup at Blackpool, knowing that we can't take them back to Glanford Park and try to do them in the replay?
Well, that's a cracking question. You would think on the face of it, the answer is yes, because you've got one bite of the cherry. You might as well field your strongest team, knowing that there's no chance of a replay on the Tuesday night. So, you're going to get tired legs in midweek for the upcoming Saturday game. So, in a way, it kind of liberates you, really. As much as I'm not a fan of the replays being scrapped, there is an argument to say it does liberate the lesser teams, because you can have one good proper go at it. However, on the other side of the coin, the higher teams know on the balance of play, the smaller team have got one chance to have a go at it. So it kind of swings and roundabouts, I guess. So yeah, I would imagine it will affect our tactics. I think we'll probably go for it a little bit more. But even if it was if there was the opportunity of a replay, we're going to have a good go, aren't we? Like, Butler is not the kind of manager who's not going to give it 100%. I will be interested, though, Max, to see tactically how we set up, because we've talked a great deal over the last year or so about 3 at the back, 5 at the back, or your traditional 4 at the back. Butler hasn't done it so far this season. He's been reluctant to go back to 5 at the back. But if he's ever going to do it, Max, you would think it would be against higher opposition like Blackpool, wouldn't you?
Well, or against a side who themselves line up in that shape. Look, the last time we played 5 at the back away at Blackpool was under Mark Robbins, and we conceded 5 goals. So I'm not massively convinced that unless you had no alternative, you would change what's been so far this season a relatively successful tactical setup. I also look at the injuries and suspensions we've had defensively, and playing 5 at the back may be a luxury that we can't actually do depending on what personnel we have ready for the game. And just on your replay point, Barra, as well, I would say that actually I think the missing point there for me is the finances. I think back to Tamworth last season, who were after 90 minutes, I suppose were level. And they were basically robbed of about £500,000 in terms of being able to go back to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for a replay. And whilst it wouldn't be that kind of money for us if we were level against Blackpool after 90 minutes, if we got them in a replay, I still think you'd be looking at a decent bit of coffers. So, look, we know that financially it's split. Traditionally, it was always both sides got 45% and the FA got 10%, I think. Not aware of that change. That's always used to be the rules, at least. So we'll see anyway, and we'll discuss the Blackpool game in more detail nearer the time anyway. But no, very, very much looking forward to that. Right then, Barra, do you want to introduce your interview with Positivity Dave?
Oh, go on then. So coming up, we've got a really good segment here. I recorded this with, as is affectionately known, Positivity Dave earlier in the week. Really good insight into why he got into supporting Scunthorpe, which is a fantastic story, actually. It's all to do with Andy Boyce, and a really good message also around mental health. Well, a treat for Iron listeners. This week I am joined by, a fan who's risen to, what's the word? A bit of celebrity status, Dave. It's, of course, the one and only Positivity Dave. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, really good. Thank you. Before we start, though, it seems a bit of a international edition. I just want to check, are you still pretending that you're in Alabama, USA? Because if you are, I'm in Krakow, Poland.
Nice. No, I'm back in the UK. I was at the Kings Lynn game.
I'm in Garthorpe, then, mate. Yeah. Scunthorpe. Okay.
No, I was at the Kings Lynn game on Saturday.
Oh,
arrived at 9 a.m., 8 a.m., something like that. Came home, straight out, mate, to the game. Have some of that. The missus was buzzing.
Proper fun, mate.
Yes.
What can I say?
She was so happy with me.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, the
I'm
stunned
lucky.
silence.
I've got a wife who, well, you have been away, mate. To be fair, haven't you?
3 weeks.
My missus wants me to do this. I mean, and that's where it all started, really, 5 years ago when she was looking for something for me to do. I mean, a COVID time as well, 2020, and I saw it on Strapline on Sky Sports that Andrew Boyce, our local legend, where I brought up in Conisbrough, were moving to Scunthorpe from Eastleigh. And I said, that's it. And that was the start of the story, mate. Do you want to ask me questions? Because I'm going to rabbit otherwise.
No, this is your platform, mate. The fans, it's an opportunity for the fans to hear a little bit more about you because, like I say, I think Gareth had featured you on his vlogs. You'd risen to a little bit of a local celebrity status. Now we see you online spreading your message, mate. It's all good. Tell us about it then. So you got into it when Boise, the prodigal son, came back. What's your
Yep.
connection with Boise? Because I know you do know his father-in-law, don't you?
Well, that's an interesting one in that I did start watching Boise pre-season when he came back. And then I got a message from Boise saying, you know Steve, don't you? And I'm going, Steve? And he said, oh, you know, my father-in-law. I said, well, I probably know him, mate, because I'm rubbish with names. And I basically just call everybody mate. And this particular game, I see this guy walking around. I thought, I know him. He came up, shook my hand. I said, Steve. He says, Dave. Um, and to be honest, he came from posh part of the village, which is why I didn't know him. I'm a proper working
Is there
lad.
one? I'm not sure there is a posh part, is there?
Yeah, there is. Park Road, mate.
Yeah.
Park Road, Marshvale
That's a
Rise.
local joke, that one, by the way.
There's only two streets. There's only two streets that are posh. All others are into bread, mate, to be fair. But so yeah, mate, we struck a friendship up, and I would say with Stevie, yeah, he's his father-in-law, good mate. Very rarely agree on anything, mate, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's good. And what we've got now is we share a lot of football knowledge. He thinks he knows a lot more than me, but I just choose me moments, mate, to be honest. So
Well, for
do
a
you want me
man,
to talk positivity?
for a man who's so
That coming up?
positive, I was going to ask you about that first season back to Pot in the Iron because it was a relegation season
Yeah,
and it was dreadful. It was absolutely dreadful.
we
So,
were, mate.
what was it like being a man who intrinsically is quite an optimistic person? What was it like at that time? Because it was not good, mate.
It were worse than that, mate, to be honest. And I'm thinking out of duty that I had to keep going and watching it, and I did. And I do get why the fans were as they were. Um, I don't agree as much now why they are as they are, but we'll go on to that probably if we've got time. But yeah, it was tough, mate. It was tough, and obviously I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Hilton a couple of times, shaking his hand and believing everything he told me. Um, it didn't seem right, and it weren't right, obviously. Um, but if I just tell you just quickly how the positivity Dave thing came about. You remember last year we lost to Warrington, and they were calling for the gaffer's head at that time, and they got booed off. And it was the very first time I'd been on fans' reaction. And trust me, I came out and I'm saying, well, I do see some positives, Gareth. And I could see the look on his face. He's thinking, who's this nutter? What's he? And I can remember talking about Brogan. I can remember talking about Beck. I can remember about Carlton hitting crossbar. And obviously, it didn't go very well, did it? But that positivity bit, that stuck then. And that's where we started becoming a bit more regular on what we did. Started doing some away games. Started very rarely missing a home game. I only missed Buxton last year.
Funnily enough,
And I did try it. Sorry.
that was the game I think I stood with Steve actually at that one.
Were you?
Yeah.
3-2, I think, weren't it? And the guy from Leeds, the young man from Leeds, scored a hat trick. And
Oh, sorry, I was on about the away game. I think I was stood with
sorry,
you.
oh no, I was there at that. I saw you at that. No, I did see you at the away game, mate. Yeah, but we went that many times to Buxton, didn't we? I can't remember. They all go into a blur, don't they? What were it, 4 matches or whatever? But me positivity. I mean, a lot of people at work, they've actually got a picture of me caricature at the side of my desk. And when I try and if I try and get a bit cocky with anybody or raise my voice, they just point at the picture on the wall and go, "Thought you were Positivity Dave." Same with the wife, same with the kids, and even the grandkids are getting clever with it, mate. But if I can just tell you one other thing about the positivity bit, and it's important because, yeah, we're all having a laugh, I get it, but there were a serious side to it. Last November, I lost my brother to cancer, and he was my hero. He was a brilliant footballer. In them days, he had to get married when he was young. But even when he was doing his full-time job, he was still turning out in Central League for Barnsley reserves. And Mick McCarthy didn't get a sniff, mate. He couldn't get inside for my brother. My brother, ambidextrous, so if he played Subbuteo with him, he'd cross it with one finger and score with other. Proper two-footed. And I know there's players who always claim that they're two-footed. My brother could hit a free kick from right-hand side with his right foot, from left with his left. And it was just circumstance that meant that it didn't happen for him. And then, obviously, I had marriage, failed marriage. You probably see me sometimes with a guy with blonde hair and a bit of a beard. That's my nephew, Paul. But my brother then, unfortunately, I mean, he were in police, but when he were a uniformed policeman, he were at Hillsborough. And it destroyed him, mate. It scarred him for life. So when I lost him last year, even though we didn't see each other, we'd not seen each other for a while, I questioned a lot of things. I'm getting to positivity, trust me. It's not a Dave sob story. But what we also did in January, me and my wife, Michelle, on her bucket list was to go to Krakow, ironically, and to go to Auschwitz. And all I can say that if I were just to go quiet now for a minute, which I'm not going to do, it would just see everything, what we experienced in January. Those two things together have had a massive impact on my life. Seriously. And I am trying. Pardon?
I can believe that. There's sometimes you experience things which are so profound and kind of catch you a little bit off guard. I mean, I've got a number of experiences like that where you meet people, or you see people, you're kind of exposed to something, and
yes,
you hope, and you hope actually. I don't know about you, Dave, but you hope that it does change your perspective permanently, and it's not just a flash in the pan. Because sometimes as well, like when somebody passes away, and immediately you feel quite sorrowful, and then it tends to fade, but sometimes you're hoping that it does change you as a person. You do have a different perspective on life.
Yeah. I think as you get older though, Barry, and you're still quite young, in fact, I know you are, when you get in your 60s, mate,
a long way off that.
Well, you're questioning a lot of things, mate, aren't you? I mean, just for the record, Steve is older than me, by the way, and he looks it.
He does, mate, doesn't he? He looks like he's struggling, actually, yeah.
It's changed me, and I'm trying to be positive, and I do get it. I mean, I've asked the question. I asked it in Ironbar on Saturday. If we lost 3 games on trot, we would still have some numpties come out asking for Gaffer to resign, change his philosophy.
Dave, they were booing at half-time, mate, on Saturday.
I know, mate. And again, whether you believe in playing your strongest team first or bringing on in second half, hey, we've not done bad, have we? We've not done bad. And I have every faith in the guy. And I'm just, if people had said that we would be where we are now, 4th in league after this many games, but playing a quality of football, options all over the pitch to score goals, not just reliant on Whitehall or Roberts. Come on, nobody. Somebody told me in Iber, I had a bet on them at 25-1. I knew they were going to. No, they didn't. This far exceeds anything we could have hoped for.
I agree.
And I'm loving the journey, mate. Loving the journey. And back to the positivity thing. Even if we have a bad game, you won't see me booing. You won't hear me booing. And if ever I'm doing fans reaction or something like this, you will hear positivity. Because this family that we've got at Scunthorpe, I've only been here 5 years. This is my 6th year in January. I want to be part of that family. And I could list names now. Stuart and his missus and all the guys. Jim who gives you programme tickets as you get into Ironbar. And even Stevie Hope. I tell you, Stevie Hope, he gives me hope. I give him positivity, and he's done some cracking work for me. And I love what we are. The owner, I'm going to tell you something in a minute. The owner, Michelle, and all the owners have done brilliant. Michelle, I don't know if you know this. She told us in that, so I don't think it's a secret, but she's actually been doing courses on agents. So she knows that she could be an agent, a qualified agent. I think it's in 6 months' time. Not because she wants to be an agent, but because she wants to get in minds of agents. Now, if that ain't due diligence and brilliant from an owner, I don't know what is. Let me just mention you this one. When Raj at the Fans Forum did those 2 passionate speeches, I was looking round for people to get up because I wanted to get up and give a round of applause because it was so passionate. And it resonated with me, and I'm sure it resonated with loads of people. And I saw him the other week, and I said, thank you, by the way, for what you said at that Fans Forum, because you were speaking for everybody. And the positivity that it gave me. I'm not religious, by the way, I'm not going on one here. We've so many things to be grateful for. And I keep saying it, we've got a football club. We've got a football club. Whether we're playing Blackpool in FA Cup, or Man United in FA Cup, or Gainsbury in FA Cup, it really don't matter, other than we want money. And hopefully we get through next round and we get a load of cash in. I love this club. And I'm as somebody told me at Village Fete a few weeks ago when he'd had too much to drink, you're an incomer. You'll never be a villager. I'm not sure I want to be a villager in Garthorpe, right? But that's another story. But, mate, I feel it at the club. I just wish we weren't so fickle. Because sometimes...
Yeah, but listen, mate, I think you take that a bit personally, because it's football fans, mate. That's what keeps you passionate. Like, for me, anyway.
Okay.
That maybe it's not the most fickle, but I do understand it. You know, you live vicariously through what happens on that pitch. You feel everything.
Yeah.
And when it don't go your way, you take it personally. You know, and we all express ourselves differently. And I do get it, actually. I do understand it.
Right, okay.
That's
what
my
it's about as well.
philosophy.
It's opinions, mate. And I can sit with somebody. I'm not going to slag anybody down. It's opinions, isn't it? I've got a massive background in football, which I'm not going into today because you'll be inviting me again when you get your numbers up for
Exactly, mate. I've gained 3 listeners. I know that anyway.
Well, there you go, mate. So what I would like to do, because you've seen them anyway, is thank Debbie and Gareth, because I had that caricatured on and they obviously came up with Positivity Day mugs. I ain't got that many of them, and they're not cheap. But what I do want to do is try and reward people who are special people and who really say to me about the whole ethos of the club and what we're about. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks.
Let's have a look at it. Show us it. Cause,
have you not seen it?
We're missing half your face, to be honest with you, Dave.
Oh, sorry. What do you want then?
Lift the cup up. Let's have a look. Keep going up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Lift that cup. Look at that. There you go.
Hey. Beautiful. Just so you know, I am a member at Irish Iron. I am a member at Scunthorpe United Unity Group. I am a member at Iron Trust. I believe in it.
You've got more cards than a magician, you, mate.
I have, mate. I have. But look, it's not about me. It's what people like Gareth have got me involved in. You, with the work that you guys do. I mean, I'm going to list loads more people, and you were obviously part of it. I mean, James Moody. What he's just got this general manager's job. If ever something were deserved, well, that deserved. What a servant to the club. The workers that do all what they do pre-season, the fundraisers, as I said, like Stuart and Susan, and I've got to mention Ryan, who did that wonderful walk for Mind. I have been touched by it with my mum a lot of years ago, but I know there's a mystique about it, not a mystique, whatever that word is. And certainly at work, I have to deal with it on a daily basis where somebody will play that mental health card. It does exist. It does exist massively. And again, as a club, we showed all our support to the likes of Ryan, and I know we'll continue to do that. I'm not trying to be on a downer at all about anything because I am positive. My wife's noticed a change in me. Steve thinks I'm boring. because I'll tell you a story because he'll tell you anyway. Coming back from Kings Lynn after we'd lost 1-0, and I'm swearing in car, and I did call the gaffer a few swear words, but I'll not say them like your colleague does every week and makes a lot of women and kids switch off. But that's another story. Old Max boy. And he said, can you be positive when you're talking about Butler like this? But it was so demoralising, losing 1-0 down there without even hurting them. But I am positive. I know we've got a bright future. This year, to me, were always about consolidation. It were always about getting money in the coffers. And it were always about building for next year. The last thing we want to do is go up and not have money to have a side that don't come straight back
I'd
down.
still take a promotion, Dave.
Yeah.
Snap your hand off for it.
Yeah. You didn't, mate. As I say, it's all opinions, isn't it? I'm changing my mind now because I never thought we'd even be here. Never thought we'd even be here.
I know it. Right, mate. Do you want to give us a final message then? What's your final message for those listening?
I love this shirt. I love what it stands for. I'm not a local, but I'm learning to be one. And most importantly, I'm becoming part of this wonderful Scuddy family. And I thank you for today.
Excellent.
Really
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that interview there, Barrett. A really, really good chat. I am conscious of time here. So I think, why don't we jump straight into, whilst we've got you, the next segment as well, where I believe you were chatting with Andy, the Boston fan, if you'd like to introduce that.
Yes, so I'm back again. We have our usual returning segment of Spy in the Camp. Again, recorded this one earlier in the week. One of my favourite guests, actually, for this Spy in the Camp segment. So we'll definitely get him on the podcast later on in the season. You'll have to forgive my faux pas as well about Boston at the start of this segment, but here you go, enjoy it.
Well, listeners, we have a return of our much favoured segment this week, and I'm joined by Andy Creasy, who is a Boston United fan. I have to check whether there's a United or not, because is this the second iteration of Boston?
No, not at all. Well, I think 1933 have been in existence. Yeah. So, no, there's only one Boston United. There is a Boston Town, but they play in Step 5, I think.
That must be a wires crossed, but of course, not Step 5.
By the way, obviously, we're coming across as a massive club here. Obviously, been a massive impact on your lives.
I'm not saying this is a one-sided rivalry or anything like that. I'm not saying this derby doesn't mean anything to us or anything like that. But just to check,
it's a bit of a weird one because it's kind of a derby, but we don't really see it as a local rivalry. But it's not like fierce or intense or anything like that.
No, I think if you're travelling the best part of 2 hours somewhere, I think you're struggling to call it a derby.
Yeah, we do anywhere from here.
Well, yeah.
Problem.
You're looking at Norwich and going, so what, we could make a derby out of that.
Yeah, it's close anywhere.
Right, well, Andy, talk to me about this season. Talk to me about how it's gone so far, because it's hard to know whether you would classify this as a decent enough start, because, I mean, what are Boston's ambitions? You're not in the relegation zone, so is that a massive tick?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's, if we can finish mid-table, probably the lower part of mid-table, I think we've had a good season. I think we had such a good finish, obviously that great escape last year, where we just came from absolutely nowhere. It was an unbelievable finish.
You were buried, mate. You were absolutely
gone. We were at 12 points adrift at the start of March to survive with a game to go. I think, and when you look at all these people doing their predictions in the summer, a lot of people had us as outsiders, playoff contenders, and that's probably segments of the supporters probably got a bit carried away with that as well. But the reality is the size of the club, the budget that we're probably constrained to, we were never going to be playoff contenders. So I think where we are now, probably if we can look a little bit higher, I think we'll be all right. We had a bit of a shaky start, but 4 games in the league unbeaten now. So that's made a big difference, 8 points from those 4 games. So another 3 of it on Saturday. And then it'll be looking all right.
I'm not sure myself. Unbeaten, 4
unbeaten,
but you did get a bit of a tonking at the weekend.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, look, there's no disgrace to
Cracking
lose
side, aren't they, Carlisle?
Carlisle. Yeah, no disgrace at all. We are literally the world's worst FA Cup team as well. We've got an awful record in recent years, so it's no surprise. But it's one of them where you just hope it doesn't really ruin the momentum a little bit that we're built up. So probably a derby like is a good game for us on Saturday to try and bounce back, and decent atmosphere and all that sort of thing. Obviously against a good side, but it's probably a good opportunity for us.
It's a funny one with Boston, our relationship with Boston, because you're something of a bit of a bogey team for us. You certainly have been. I mean, we've not had shocking results against you, but we have always struggled to win. Has that been something that you've been aware of as fans?
Not really. No, I mean, I'm trying to think. Obviously, 2 seasons ago, I think there was all draws, weren't there?
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
final, but I think the actual game was draws. But to be honest, you probably came off that worse. We probably got away with that a little bit, as I remember it. But yeah, and I think in the league we had quite a good in that when I think we did 5 years, 6 years in the league, and we had quite a good record against you. Then the times we did play, yeah. But there won't be many games over the year. And there's probably, if you look at the record, there's probably a few county cup games in there as well, which would skew the figures a little bit. But yeah, I don't think the record's too bad at all.
No, just having a look, looks like blimey. Yeah, I mean that's not great actually. Set head record's probably even worse than I thought. 2002 looks like we might have got a win against you.
Yeah, but how many have you played? It wouldn't be that many against us since then, would there?
No, I know, because obviously you dropped out. But
yeah.
If you measure it in years, it's a long time, I guess. But games probably.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Talk to me then about, because I was just checking before we came on air, and I did just say to you, but Linnell John Lewis is still kicking around.
He is, yeah. So he's coming this year. I think he's 36. He obviously just clever. He understands the game, doesn't he? He's one of those forwards that you need up there that'll just stick to, wins free kicks and does things like that. Obviously not the most mobile now. And he's kind of played probably 50% of the games on his own, 50% with a partner, and I don't think they're really sure which is the best role for him. So it'd be interesting to see what they do on Saturday, because there's a couple of options they've got up there. But yeah, I think he's one of those as well. It's quite a young side generally, so probably good around the change room. There's stuff that you don't see obviously on a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock that he probably brings to them, really.
Like really good with cards and stuff like that.
Yes.
Great in the dressing room. What does that mean? Just look at another player that I would like to talk about is obviously Michael Kelly. Now came to Boston from the Iron in the summer, but looks have only featured 6 times so far for you this season.
Been injured, mate. He's been in and out. He's kind of got injured, then he was back, then he was injured again. It's just been so stop-start for him. But when he was out, we signed Matty Carson from Grimsby, who's done really well, actually, to be fair. So I think it's not an injury at the minute that's keeping Michael out the side. It's probably on right. It's basically just because Carson's done well. So he's never really got going. He's not done bad, but he's never really got going, unfortunately, just because it's been so stop-start.
You talked earlier about the fact you were 12 points adrift at the start of March.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like at the time? And at what point in that time period did you think, I think we could stay up here,
I don't.
Because sorry, the reason I asked that
get
is
it to sort of 6 points.
Yeah, didn't you actually do it at a canter in the end? You did it with like 2 games to go.
Well, we did it on the penultimate game, yeah. But and then the last game was just obviously they've been celebrating all week, but you probably get to about 6 points, 5-6 points. And there was a couple of games when you thought, when they're really good results. I think went to Rochdale and won 3-2. I think the same scoreline at Yeovil, and those sort of week games, long journeys, and you start to think, hang on a minute, there's something's going on here. There's on a roll. The couple of times they made a couple of defeats, and he's taking a back step. But yeah, probably 6 points. I can't remember the exact game it was against, but I mean, when you listen to the management and the players, they will say they were confident throughout, but I'm not entirely sure I believe them, because the support was, we thought at 12 points was dead and buried, and it was kind of just end the season now, and we're back in the north and go again next season. But yeah, it was the manager's done an unbelievable job to turn that around. It's brilliant.
It's fun when that happens, isn't it? Because fans often say, I just want to go down, and then we can rebuild. And you think, what are you talking about? Like, there's no rebuild. You either stay up or you could go on a slide here.
Unfortunately for you boys, as you know, it's so difficult once you go down to bounce back up again and fortunately, you've done it now, and you can see you're on that trajectory a little bit. But yeah, it's so difficult to pick yourself up, build again, and go again. You can just find yourself just falling if you're not careful. So hopefully, we'll survive again this year, and then we can really got a platform to build it and push forward.
Brad Nicholson obviously left yourselves in the summer, but he did. I forget how many times he's played for you now, but it's been a lot. He joined you again last season from us. How instrumental was he in staying up in the end? And
yeah, he was good. And I think, he's moved on now. And Brad's one of those, when he's been at Boston, he's sounds a bit negative, but he's a 7 out of 10. But I think he's a really good lad. I don't know him personally, obviously, but I think that the impression I get is he's a really, really good lad to have around the dressing room. He does care about Boston United. I don't think there's anyone that would sort of doubt that. So I think in the situation we're in, he was an ideal person to get in there and just kind of lift things, and probably just a fresh face as much as anything, who knew the club as well. But yeah, he's obviously moved on. He did all right as actually we played Solihull a few weeks ago and at the JCS, and he did quite well for them. But yeah, he's a good lad. But yeah, he did bring something else, and obviously that long throw, which we'd never used. So it had 2 previous spells of us, and we never really used it, strangely. But they got him using long throw, and I don't know if you had anyone that's got a long throw, but every time you had Brad, obviously, but Brad. Every time you get a throw in, the final 30 yards, it's like a corner, and it just lifts the crowd. And we probably didn't have that many goals came from it, but it just the atmosphere was lifted just because Brad walking up to take a throw. It's a strange one.
Remember back in the day when obviously Stoke were doing it every week, and it's going out for a throw in, and the left back runs over and saves the throw in and knocks it out for a corner. Yeah. They're all high-fiving each other, and you're like, something not quite right here.
It's a strange one. It's the kind of trajectory. We've got a couple of lads now that's got a long throw, but some of them are kind of at more lofted throw, where the defenders can go and attack it a bit more. But when Brad's got that really flat throw, and it's a lot more difficult, anyone gets a little flick. And the amount of times J Rowe came around the back from right back to score, he was kind of our biggest attacking threat almost at the end of last season, just because he was on the end of Brad's throws half the time.
Well, I was going to let you go, but now you brought Jay up, obviously another ex-Clunan player who left you in the summer. Real coming of age for Jay, I think, once he left Scunthorpe. Was he impressive?
Really brilliant for Boston. Absolutely brilliant. I think if you ask most supporters of all the players that left in the summer, who would you want back? And it would undoubtedly be Jay. He was brilliant. As I say, he was probably our best player going forward last year. He's a better attacker than he is defender. I think that's where he needs to work on his game, and it doesn't seem to have worked too. I don't know how well it's going in Wraith, up in Scotland with him at Wraith, but he seems to have been in and out a little bit.
He's not played games. He's made 4 appearances.
Yeah,
2 of them have been. Oh no, they're all 4 starts to be fair, but he's only finished 1 game of the 4.
He posted something on LinkedIn the other day. I don't know how it got out, and it was one of them where the manager responded saying, "You know where to be on Monday morning, 9:30." I think as a bit of a joke, but a few fans have picked up on it, and everyone was getting a bit giddy thinking he was coming back. But yeah, no, he was brilliant. I'd say that age he's at with us was probably a big difference from when he was with you guys. I think he just, like you say, come of age a little bit more. Probably needed the drop down as well, just to help him build again.
Really nice lad as well. I've met him a couple of times, and
he did. Yeah,
coaching and stuff. He's really good guy. I like him a lot. Right, Andy, before you get off, hit us up with a score prediction then. How do you see this one going?
Despite my confidence at the start, I'll sit on the fence. I'll go with a draw, but I think it will be entertaining. I think it'll be a good derby.
Now, that's not like you to make a faux pas there, is it, Barry? I can't express my lack of shock enough at that. So we'll move swiftly on from that. Gareth, obviously a little bit of controversy from an Iron fan's point of view in terms of the ticket allocation. I believe 650. I want to say might even be a little bit less than that.
Yeah, 650.
650. Will you be one of the lucky few cheering on the Iron on Saturday?
I will. Yeah, I joined the scramble. Yeah, they were on sale for most of the day, weren't they? The tickets. So if you've missed out on a ticket and you're a season ticket holder, there was ample opportunity. I believe the last few went on general sale. So I'll be one of the 650, and looking to a good day out. Looking forward to a good day out. Just not the drive down to Boston.
Yeah, hopefully the drive back might be a little bit more tolerable if we're coming back with 3 points. Marco, Just want to discuss a little bit of signing news with you. Obviously, one of the bright sparks of the Iron in the last few weeks, I believe, with 4 goals in all competitions since he's joined, has been. Oh, Barra's saying 5.
Sorry, no, 4 goals in 5 games. Sorry.
Oh, okay. See, that's what happens when he tries to give me off-camera signals.
Sorry.
Is to now he's just doing the YMCA, I think. Has been Ty Sellers Fleming. Obviously, we're recording this on Thursday evening. Earlier in the day, both the Iron and Hull City announced that his initial 28-day loan agreement had been extended until the end of January. How pleased were you to see that news, Marco?
Yeah, I think most Scunthorpe fans were waiting. I know his month loan obviously expired yesterday, so we're all waiting with bated breath to see if it was one till the end of the season. Looks like we managed to get him till January. So yeah, really positive signing. Like you said, he's been one of the bright sparks. He fits into the system really well. We spoke about him on previous podcasts where sort of not in that number 9 role like you find Whitehall, but just coming in off the left. I think that you see his best of his pace there, and then obviously his finishing as well. It'll be not weird to see, but it'll be interesting to see in the next few games how we go about actually putting him in the team. Obviously, like Butler said, a lot of his goals have come off the bench. We've got obviously Dec Howe who plays there as well, who's done really well, getting a lot of goals. And again, like I said, with Horton, especially down that left-hand side, we've got a lot of good players and a lot of good options now. So yeah, really interesting to see. And like I said, it'd be interesting to see if he's that starter now, with Dec having a go coming off the bench, or if we keep as it is. But yeah, look, they're both two very good players. And like I said, I'm very excited to see Fleming because I think he's built into himself. He's looking very pacey. And look, the confidence to take it around the keeper on Saturday, for somebody at obviously such a young age, somebody you can just see plays without fear. And yeah, it's really good to see. So, like, really good signing and one that's going to definitely get us up the league.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Now, Barra, just looking forward to the to the Boston game. Obviously, it's not traditionally somewhere where we've done that well. Even in League Two. Where do you think the game will be won and lost?
Probably goals scored, I would imagine. Marco shaking his head.
That's very big talk for people who aren't watching this. Barra hasn't played his Lecky bill and his likes have just gone. I don't want to make any goal jokes, but
well, before I answer that question, can I say 3 people have messaged me this week saying that I need to ask you, Marco, to say Tyrell Sellers Fleming's name. So I'm not saying you've got a reputation for butchering it, but
get away! I mean, it was one time Horton. There's 2 fullbacks, Tyler and Brandon. I apologise. We move on. Let's not talk faux pas on about Boston either. So let's just carry on.
Shots fired. Where will the game be won and lost? Oh, that's a great question. I would imagine, and I might get a bit of stick for this, if Boston are like anything of the Boston side we've seen over the last couple of years, and because of the conversation around our goalkeeper situation, I wouldn't be entirely shocked if Boston are putting balls in our box, set pieces, target set pieces. Probably look to hit the byline, which again, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, not a tactic you see employed these days. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston are trying to get balls into the box, trying to put Watson under a bit of pressure, see what happens, see if anything at all. And also, I guess the other element is with our captain out, with Boise out, there's still a little bit of an inexperienced backline in terms of them playing together. I know there's experience in terms of they're all established players, but they haven't had a lot of experience playing together. And again, depending on what he decides to do on the left back situation with Horton and Denton, obviously with his injections, you could have a situation where you've got a back 4 who probably haven't played together a hell of a lot. So that's what I would imagine Boston's tactics are. Scunny, same as it has been all season. Play through the middle, play through Ollie Ewing, and get the ball in the final third and let the strikers do the rest.
What did you think I know this is off topic, sorry, but on the first half particularly, what did you think to JB at centre half?
Yeah, I didn't think JB had a terrible game. I thought Evans was pretty poor actually in the first half on Saturday, which is very
Yeah, unlike Evans, he looked quite
Yeah.
sluggish, and I think in doing that, JB was quite exposed.
Yeah, I can see
Often in
that.
that first half, he was two, running at him constantly. So yeah, like I said, I've maybe being harsh with JB there, but yeah, Evans, that was his worst game of the season by far. But again, that's because his standards have been so high this season.
I tell you, Marco, one player who actually did impress me in the first half. I know it was a poor first half, but he got subbed at halftime. But I thought Dekar was class in that first half, especially defensively. He was offering so much. It was ironic that their first goal came from him on the wing, probably not doing what he should do, because everything else he did I thought was immaculate, especially from a defensive perspective.
That's why we signed Fleming. He put so much into the first 60, 70 minutes. And I think Butler obviously understands that. But we as fans can see that. So having a player like Fleming with those fresh legs is perfect for that scenario, which will be interesting to see how he goes about managing the minutes. So yeah, no, it's really, like I said, the next few games, I think we'll get a really good picture of who we favour to that left-hand spot.
Right, before we move on to the score predictions for this game, as of today, newly sponsored by the SUFC Unity Group, Gareth, I've just got one final question for you on the game. Obviously, in the second half, we did see a cameo from Carlton. He scored the Irons' third goal, and it was the first glimpse we've had of him for quite a few weeks. One, what did you make of his performance? And two, has he potentially played himself into contention for Butler's attacking options moving forward?
I thought he did all right coming off the bench. Like you say, it's been a while since we've seen him, but he took his chance eventually. Got blocked the first time, came back to him, the ball came back to him, he took his chance and put it in. So I was pleased for him.
Gareth, where have we seen that before?
Well, yeah.
It was like a carbon copy of the playoff final, that one, wasn't it?
I thought it was phenomenal when he came on. He did everything that Dawson failed to do. And that's not a dig at Dawson. Dawson's been really good when he's played previously. But that first half, along with the other 10, I thought it was poor. So seeing Calvin come on, his goal, the hold-up play to actually create the chance, dropping it off. Obviously, the finish, which is the main question mark around Calvin, is his finishing. So see him get the goal. I genuinely think there's a place for Calvin in this team. Look, I'm not saying he starts. It's a really good front 5-6 players we've got. But is he in contention? Is he knocking on the door? Definitely. I think 100% he's one of a really good option to have there. So I was happy to see him score. And look, no one's questioned his commitment or his pace and his ability. He just needs to do it more consistent. So again, another good problem to have.
I think that's it. It's consistency, isn't it? You mentioned it there. It's being consistent and doing it week in, week out. So whether that's whether he starts or comes off the bench, I think we'll see him more off the bench. I can't imagine going straight into the team. But keeps working and doing what he's doing, scoring goals when he comes on and looking effective, then yeah, he's a bit pushing for a start.
Go on, Barry, you're waving.
Yeah, can I chuck another name at you guys? Max Brogan, what do you think's going on there?
I think it's competition for places. Obviously, we have.
I just think the players we've got are just performing. In all fairness to him, I don't think there's any lack of quality on his half, because it was the end of last season he played and he looks good. Did a job. I just think the players we've got and the way they're performing in the middle of the park. Yeah, go on, Marco.
I think the lad from Donny, him coming in, tells a real story. That position's Brogan's, isn't it? There, if Butler thinks he can do that for a long period of time. So look, I know on Humberside, Ollie Turner was interviewing Butler today, and they were speaking loans, and it has to be the right one, both financially and for a player to get minutes. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't talking about possibly Brogan, Beck, and before last week I'd have said Calvin. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Sorry, Max, to labour the point, but what do you think's happened there then between the end of last season and now? Because Max Brogan was obviously offered a deal, and now is nowhere near the picture, Max.
I suppose it depends on your definition. Nowhere near. I think Marco does make a good point in terms of the signing of Westbrook. Probably did surprise me, to be honest. But Butler sees them pretty much every day on the training ground. and you feel that he would have got a pretty good handle on what qualities Westbrook could potentially bring to the club through his connections at Donny. And again, I wonder if in the system that actually it's a little bit more competitive in those middle of the park roles. Perhaps if we were playing 3-5-2 with 3 genuine out and out central midfielders, then there might be an extra berth there for quite a few games. Look, we just don't know. We just don't know. So it's a long season. People, as we've already seen, people get injured, people get suspended, people's form dip in and out. But again, I think Marco is right potentially in terms of the loans. Obviously, we saw it with Brogan going to Telford last season. If we went out to the National League North, particularly once we got closer to Christmas, I do think he might be one of the players who would have potential suitors there. For example, it could be Telford. So, look, we'll see what happens on that front. But from the manager's point of view, particularly in an area of the pitch as key as central midfield, I don't think Butler will be disappointed to have multiple options. Right, on that basis then, I think by now it's going to be the Iron Hour Plus podcast, particularly thanks to Barra's unexpected arrival. So we'll move on just to wrap things up with our score predictions ahead of the Boston game. Thank you very much to the SUFC Unity Group for sponsoring this section. Gareth, give me your score prediction. How do you think it's going to go?
I'm gonna write these down this time because I'm fed up of asking every week. Right, come on, Gareth, hit me up.
I think 1-1. Maybe, but yeah, 1-1. I'm just
Okay. Be brave and give me the Scunthorpe scorer.
Will Evans.
I've wrote that down as well. There'll be extra 20 points. Right. Well, if it finishes 1-1 and it's Will Evans scoring, that says to me that it might not be a festive, sexy attacking football from both sides. Barra, are you going to go for your usual 0-0 or are you going to mix it up?
I'm going to mix it up. I'll go 2-2. Goal scorers will be
a goal fest, a 4-goal thriller.
Yeah, I'm going to say Deck Howe and JB.
Oh, okay. Perhaps a cheeky set piece there for Bella Hume's goal. Marco,
lovely pronunciation.
Marco, we've had a 1-1 and we've had a 2-2. Are they too neggy for you? What are you thinking?
2-1 victory for the Iron. I'm going Fleming to get a goal celebrating his extension.
Full name, please. Full name.
Tyler Sellers Fleming. I don't know where this has came from.
Did you say Tyler? Tyler.
Yeah, he did, Matt. He did, Barry. Yeah, he
did. I did as well.
Fantastic.
I can't believe
he's not even drunk. He's not even drunk.
I can't believe 3 people's messaged me.
So that's 3 Tylers. So you think there's 3 Tylers, yeah?
Hey, you can't have enough Tylers.
Right. Do you want to say it again, Marco? We're going to give you a second chance here. Can you?
Tyrell Sellers Fleming.
Okay, I will accept that. That was a laughter halfway through Sellers. I think I will accept that.
Right. So we've got young man Tyrell. I can see him scoring.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to go for a Ewing goal.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So 2-1 victory. So not like these neggies. Speaking of neggies, go on, Max.
Look, I wasn't the one butchering your pronunciation. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, it starts with N anyway. I'm not sure about neggy, but
I mean, the word I was thinking of has got a silent K at the front of it, so I'll take that. I will. I think Gareth is onto something in terms of how the game will go. I could see it be quite a negative game of football. I could see Boston defending quite well, keeping it compact, double manning Roberts. I'm going to go for 0-0.
0-0. The only thing is, obviously, their most recent result shipped 5 goals to Carlisle, who I knew wasn't.
But I think back, ironically, I think back to the Carlisle game. In terms of, obviously, their most recent away game had been, they chipped 5 to York. And I think you do see it with sides after they put after a particularly poor defensive performance, they overreact the other way and go, right, that's not happening again. And in fairness, whilst we have frustrations, and I thought in the second half we played very well, particularly with 10 men, Carlisle did defend well. They defended like a side who shouldn't have been conceding 5 goals away at York. So, I'm going to go for 0-0.
I tell you what, Marco, you take that, wouldn't you? A clean sheet for Tyler Watson.
Anyway, is it competition time?
Yes, it is, Marco. Tell us more.
So, again, big thank you to everybody who shared. We've gained a lot of new followers, a lot of new fans. And look, we hope you listen to the podcast because we are quite good at what we do. Award-winning, award-nominated. So, welcome, and we do appreciate it. We did the random supporter competition for Clunan's match-worn promotion-winning shirt, and it was a Facebook entry that won, and the winner is Adam Bird. So well done to Adam. Again, thank you to everyone taking part. There will be more competitions. We love doing that. We love giving back. Well done, Adam. If you're at a game, we will get your shirt to you. If not, we can send it. So do just get in touch, and we can sort it out that way. So massive congratulations. But again, a huge thank you to everyone who got involved. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive congratulations to Adam for winning the signed match worn.
Also, on a side note, not just because of those retweets or shares, last week's podcast was one of our most watched and viewed, listened ever. Just shows what we're doing is obviously working. You guys are enjoying it. So again, big thank you to all the listeners. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for our competition winner, Adam, do drop us a DM, or if you're at Boston on Saturday, do grab us, and we'll make sure that we get your prize to you ASAP. And that is a wrap. As I say, I think for this week it's been the Iron Hour Plus podcast. So massive thanks, not just to Barra for doing the segments, but also to Positivity Dave and Andy, the Boston fan, for sitting down and chatting with us. Very, very much appreciated. As always, very happy to bring you another episode of the Iron Hour podcast, and we hope to see you for another episode next week. Up the iron.
Up the iron.